Hello everybody and welcome to a new devlog. This devlog is going to be about the various ways in how I polished my game. For those of you who don't know, I'm working on a boomer shooter Metroidvania where there's a big focus on movement and collecting weapons that grant you additional movement. So right now I'm mostly in the polishing phase of things. I'm trying to look at the game as a whole and seeing the little ways I can make it as good as it can possibly be for the demo that I want to release. And I think one of the things I wanted to tackle these few weeks was the animation side of things. I feel like there's definitely a lot of animations that I still could use. A lot for the dialogue, some new characters I need to add which also require animations. Some stuff for gameplay mechanics, like I gave Ralphie a kick ability, which is just like a new animation she performs when you do a parry. So every time you deflect a bullet or parkour on a ring enemy, you do a kick. I decided to flesh out my characters a little bit by giving them more dialogue. As I'm talking now, I already made a cutscene for Bug, which delves a little bit more into his lore. He talks about how he was never born a human, he was always a demon, and despite that, he wishes to redeem himself somehow in the eyes of God and maybe find a way into heaven. Ralphie is a little skeptical of that, and so is he, but both of them are optimistic, and I think it's a nice, wholesome conversation. I added some new animations for Chippy. It was kind of annoying me how when you're holding a two-handed weapon like the shotgun, he would first have to land on your fingers and then jump off of them. So if you're holding a shotgun and he landed on your fingers, it kind of looked like you had three arms. And obviously that's no good. So I made sure to make a new animation where he just swoops in and talks to you while while your hands are occupied. In addition to giving Ralphie a kick, I also gave her a nice set of functioning legs. She can now run around and you can see her legs in action as you run all over the place. So there's a bunch of different animations for like running side to side, jumping, and I had a lot of fun with it, and it was a lot easier than I thought fixing up the IKs that I needed for the feet to stand in the right place. I have an animation where if you turn so far to the left, the IKs of the feet will shift automatically, and it just basically blends in the IKs between an animation, and I think it looks pretty good. I'm pretty happy with what I came up with. And I always liked shooters that had the character's legs. I don't know why. I think it's just a little pet peeve of mine when I look down and I don't see the character's legs. Like, how is this character looking down? Are they bending at a 90-degree angle? What's going on here? I designed a new inventory system that you can actually pull up with the tab button, and it'll show you a variety of different things like the keys you collected, the health points you collected, the tier shards you collected, which increase your prayer miracle abilities, and like how many artifacts you can equip. And there's also a section there that reveals that reveals dialogue history. And I had a revelation while I was playing the game and Chippy was talking to me. I do like this dialogue being here, and I don't really have to pause the game to view this dialogue. I can just read it, and I think I'm good enough to focus my attention on both the dialogue and shooting enemies at the same time, but I understand it can definitely get hectic at points where I'm just not looking at the dialogue. So I want to have it both ways, so I figured the best way to do this was to just give a section for the dialogue history, where in the event that a player misses the dialogue, they can just go back into the inventory section and then look at the dialogue they missed. I feel like that's probably the best of both worlds. I worked on a new cutscene for the Warden, the first boss in my game, where you get out of the prison and you're greeted by the prison's warden, and I gave him a little bit of lore there and a little bit more personality rather than just like another thing to kill. In the dialogue, it's revealed that he's more so just bothered by you summoning him here and having to deal with you, because he was enjoying a nice vacation in purgatory. It was his one day off of guarding the prison. So now he's going to make an example out of you. As I was saying, I gave Bug a new cutscene as well, where he talks about his lore. I think I gave him some very fun animations here, where he looks pretty expressive. I gave him an animation where he looks pretty sad, one where he looks a little bit more angry with you, one where he's shrugging. I think I'm gonna keep making animations like these that are a little more expressive, because I think they just give more personality to the characters that I could definitely use in this game, because I want to make people like these characters. There's still some more animations that I think I need to make for Vincent. I do have some dialogue planned out for that, so I think I know what I'm going to do. It's just a matter of sitting down and actually making the animations and the cutscenes. There's a cutscene I want to do with Gale, which is a new character that I've only really talked about on my Blue Sky account, but he's basically your only friend in heaven as your fellow angel, and he's the one who brings you to the Temple of Redemption, which is this game's hub world, and where all the merchants are, and it's gonna be a little bit more argumentative compared to my other dialogues, because the two characters kind of have differing views of who should be allowed into heaven. Gale thinks that they should go in the way that God intended, whereas Ralphie thinks that hell is immoral and people should be given a chance at redemption even after they die. So I'm working on those cutscenes as I am putting this video together, and those are coming along nicely. Aside from all that stuff, I've really just been playing through the game from beginning to finish and just tallying how many bugs or just issues I find, no matter how small. And I'm just slowly but surely eliminating all those little issues one by one. Luckily, a lot of them are pretty small, annoying issues that don't take a long time to fix, but a few of them are a big deal that I need to address and are going to be difficult and just generally a pain to remove. I also learned a lot from playtesting with my friends, just of potential exploits and stuff I should fix. There's some stuff that my playtesters found that I definitely did not intend for them to do right away. So I tried to fix most of those issues. That mostly just involved going into the actual Blender file and just editing the world map. I added a little icon that shows you when you're saving, so I think it's a lot more clear now. Previously you had no idea when your game was saving, so that's an improvement. I give it a cute little animation of parchment paper being scribbled on with a quill. But there still are a lot of issues, so I imagine the next devlog is probably just going to be one big bug fix video. My friend who is making music for me reached out to me and said that they're making pretty good progress with that, so I'm very happy about that, and I'm very excited to see what they come up with. So these last 3 weeks have been kind of hellish for me. I went on a trip to California for a week, which was a lot of fun, but also very tiring. The weekend after that, I met up with a bunch of friends from my master's program for an alumni event, and that was a very fun weekend. Again, very tiring as well. And then the weekend after that, I had a wedding to go to. So these last 2 weeks I had an absolute blast, but I am also mentally exhausted from all of it. And on top of that, I have to move in a month. But at least for the immediate weeks, I can just relax for a little bit and work on this game in peace over the weekends. But yeah, that is pretty much the end of this devlog. A very animation-focused devlog, so I hope you enjoyed. Let me know what your favorite animation was, and thank you so much. Hope to see you again in the next devlog. Bye-bye.